Yeah, I think so.
Looking at the house for 8 years now.
Okay. Welcome everyone to the July 20th, 22 meeting for the Historical Architectural Review Board. We are an advisory board to the Bethlehem City Council appointed by the Mayor of Bethlehem. Membership on this board must include a registered architect, a licensed real estate broker, and 6 other residents with knowledge or interest in historic preservation and Bethlehem's building inspector. We are advised by our Historic Preservation Officer, Architect Joe Phillips. Today's review will be conducted as follows. Applicants for a Certificate of Appropriateness, COA, will be reviewed in the order in which they were received. Mr. Phillips will describe the Secretary of Interior standards that apply to are based on Bethlehem's historic ordinance and the Secretary of Interior standards. Project representatives are welcome to provide additional information and respond to questions from board members. A motion is made and a second solicited. Additional discussion may ensue before the vote is taken. The motion may approve the submission as made or approve with modifications. It may deny with clear reasons why the proposal does not meet the qualifications. It may be tabled with a list of clarifications needed to allow the board to make a recommendation. Action on a COA requires the majority of members present, and today we have a quorum. The recommendation of the board is then submitted by City Council for issuance or denial of the COA. City Council typically meets the first and third Tuesday of every month. Recommendations made by us today will be acted upon by Council at their next meeting, which you may attend. No work can begin until approval is received. Board members, are there any conflict of interest with today's apps?
No.
We're all good?
No.
Okay, Joe?
Okay, first up is 402. Is that you?
Wait for what? All right.
402?
Oh, yeah, 4-2, okay.
Yeah.
So you're representing both.
Yeah.
Separate applications, maybe we take 2 separate, not that they're going to be any different, but at least we've acted on each
Yeah, they're separate
application.
properties, so the COA can go to each file.
Okay, your name?
Alvin's work facility. You want to apologize? I'm not that good at this. First time I'm doing it.
We're
So,
scary.
All right, I'm sorry.
No, we're not.
Okay. So we are, just to be clear, we are talking about 402 and 404 High Street.
Yep.
They propose to replace the existing asphalt roof shingles with GAF slate line shingles in an antique slate color, including new underlayment, ice and water shield, and drip edge will also be installed. And just confirming, I think it said new flashings, but just to confirm that the copper.
Correct. Yep. Flashing and
Okay. And then the existing half and downspouts, are they to remain?
oh yeah, they don't want to do that yet.
Yep. Okay. The structure is a 2.5-story home with a cross-gabled roof with intersecting protruding clipped gable roofs. Over 2-story high brick bays that face the street on the left and right ends of the structure. Clipped gables are supported by heavy brackets that has a shallow pit chip roof. The gutters are half round and the downspouts are round. Both are white in color. The entire facade below the roof line is brick with gently arched window openings containing 1/1 light double hung windows and heavy sills. There's a centered porch with turned posts, small support brackets detailed with rosettes, and there's a simple cornice above the wood porch. Yeah, sorry, simple cornice projection on the painted wood porch that helps to protect the deck. Wood entrance doors have a large single top light, and there are 5 panel doors below the top light. It's all yours.
Okay. All right. So basically, what they have currently is the 3 top shingles,
Mhm.
and we did 2 houses right across the street from them, in slate line, so they want to do both of them in the slate line, same color, same valleys.
Antique slate
Yeah,
color,
correct,
correct?
yeah. I apologize. So no, really, I have to, what you guys need, like, information wise for me to tell you.
I can say that most of the houses adjacent to this have been replaced with the
Correct.
slate line. So, and, High Street, a lot of houses have either full or partial replacement with the slate line.
Yeah, the insurance company wants them to replace the roof. They have a year to do it, so we try to jump ahead of schedule. But I know he doesn't like the prefab, he wants to kind of upgrade. And I know you guys require him.
All right, just to confirm, existing gutters and downspouts to be reused, all flashings to be cut. Edge trims, drip edges, and other trims will match the color of the adjacent trim.
Yeah, so we, the color that there's two colors that are really close. One is almond, one's wicker. So I kind of didn't know which one you guys would kind of recommend. Which one to go to.
What matches the trim?
One's a little lighter, one's a little darker. They're slightly.
So you're saying the trim is not actually white?
No, it's kind of like a yellowish kind of brown. So
Is that just because it's aged? Is that what it originally
I
was?
think I think they painted that color. This is definitely not white. And then when I was meeting with one of the guys in the city, he's like, he'd like us to match that color. So that's why I figured I'd bring it up. At least you guys are aware. Because I originally wrote white, but he said to try to go close colors really close. I just figured I'd
Yeah, I happen to have samples of those too.
got it. Oh, sorry. Yeah, I could definitely bring it if we pass it. I'll bring it.
Which one matches closest?
I would say we're probably a little bit closer because I'd probably go a little bit on the darker side than the lighter side. But they're both so close,
Mhm.
so the shade difference. But
In your opinion, will it be obvious, the difference?
no, definitely not. You can't tell. It's just not the same exact color.
Yeah.
It's not going to stand out.
Oh, no, not for sure. Yeah. It's not like you look at white and cream.
Yeah,
It's going to be similar tone, like similar tint. It's just one either the dark or the yellow.
Yeah.
And you're saying the wicker comes the
Wicker, I
closest?
think, is the closest. That's what I would put on if I had to match it.
They're not painting anything else.
No, they're not painting on it.
Tommy, may I ask a question?
Sure, go ahead.
My question to you is it just the main roof that's going to be replaced, or are there porch roofs that will be replaced as well?
Every roof besides the front low sloping EPDM roof. There's two side porches. One's a side porch. The 202 has a side porch, and then
402.
Oh yeah, 402. I apologize. And then 404 has like a yeah.
So everything's going to be replaced with the antique.
Like
Yeah.
EPDM. That's it was fairly.
And that's the front roof. That's a porch roof, which is a flat roof.
So, fairly, it's in great shape. So.
Any other questions? Are we ready to move toward a motion?
Just a general question, so slightly
Oh, sorry.
outside the scope, but you're not touching any of the roof decking, of the vents.
No,
You're not
yeah.
doing any, no replacement of decks and stuff like
I mean, if we see any rotted pieces, we will replace them. There is one section, one little piece that he's having water, and that's why he originally called us. Can't really tell if he ripped it up. I might have to replace one sheet of decking, but other than that, I think it's solid. Yeah, let's tell you.
But that wouldn't be something that needs approval with just to replace any decking that's bad. I mean, that's like,
Yeah,
difference in
Want to move toward movement? Go ahead.
Move that we grant a certificate of approval to the removal of the existing asphalt and to install an ice and water shield as well as underlayment drip edge. The contractor will be using GAF slate line antique slate shingles. All flashing will be copper. Any painting that will be done done in a matching color, which we believe is called willow. Oh, wicker.
And the trims will be wicker.
but they're not doing any painting, right?
Right, they're not doing any painting.
I'll second that.
Okay, motion has been made and seconded. Connie,
Aye.
here. Diana and Rod made the motion. Joe McGavin.
Aye.
Michael.
Aye.
And okay, 404. Diana, if you'd like to make the same motion, I don't have to rewrite it again.
Why don't you just
That's
say
fine.
she's
Do you
making
want
the
me to
same
repeat
motion?
it,
Okay.
Joe?
So
Or do I can just,
so I made the same motion. Rod, would you
I'll
like to
second
second
again.
that? So the same motion for 404, remove existing shingles, install GAF slate line and antique slate, all flashing copper, to match the adjacent wood trims. Motion's been made and seconded. Connie,
Aye.
Joe,
Aye.
Michael,
Aye.
and Nick. Motion carried unanimously. Thank you.
I just gotta secure your council. It goes to council. Council votes on it at their next meeting, and then once you get that COA, you come down to the office, pull your permit.
And then now I'm like,
You're done.
I mean, you can sit and watch the rest if you want. You'll be more experienced. You'll be more experienced next time.
No, now you gotta stay.
516 Main Street.
how's it going?
Going well, thank you.
Your name is, sir?
Evan Bloss from Fast Signs.
Thank you. Okay. The applicant for the property located at 16 Main Street proposes to install an internally illuminated double-sided 4 3/4 square feet on each side, lit aluminum hanging sign. The colors will be black, off-white, and orange. The building is a 3-story Italianate structure. It was constructed in the 1870s as part of a commercial expansion of Bethlehem. The first floor has storefront display windows under ornate leaded glass transom lights that are topped by paneled trim and a dented cornice. The second and third floor facade are comprised of painted smooth brick facade and arched top window openings with heavy bracketed sills and bracketed brick arched hoods containing a keystone. The openings contain 2/2 light double hung windows. There's a shallow dentiled cornice between the second and third floor, heavy protruding bracketed cornice that crowns the top of the building. So the sign is proposed to be attached in one of the panels of the side trim, which is in line with the transom windows. just to confirm, you are proposing an internally illuminated sign as it says on the
Yeah, it's
application?
non-direct lighting, yes. Just like, I'll give you some examples, but yes, that's exactly right.
All right, because the only word of caution that I have to the board that don't necessarily bring up is in our historic district guidelines on page 15. It says the Harb discourages new boards, internally illuminated box signs, LED reader boards, flashing or changeable message signs, and neon signs.
None of those things.
So maybe then, if it's none of those things, if you could please describe what
Absolutely.
is meant by a halo lit sign.
So on your first comment there, though, there is an existing bracket. We're
Correct.
hanging the exact same way. That bracket is completely either way.
So hang in the same like typical detail you have
Correct.
facade. It looks like it's showing brick. It's not brick
No.
because the only thing I noticed is we asked that the fasteners not be placed in the brick, but in the
Correct, yeah,
mortar
it's
joints.
not right. I
Okay.
can change that. This has to go to an engineer
Right.
for the building permits. So.
Okay. Go ahead. If you can explain
Sure.
the lighting.
So if you guys are familiar with Univ has an ATM sign on Broad Street, corner of Main and Broad. That is the same style of sign, except theirs actually lights directly out the front. It all lights up, router push through. It's an approved sign in the historic district. We're proposing the exact same sign, although we're gonna direct lighting. So basically it gives you like a halo light around all the letters.
Mhm.
So if there's actually no light coming directly out of the sign, it's kind of like a backwash on the sign like this.
So how does, see, that's a sign against the building, correct?
Yeah.
So how does this work? This is not going to be against the building.
Well, it's against just the letters, like not the whole box.
I
Just like
see.
this, yeah.
Okay.
Just like the one example here. A Univest is the exact same type of sign. Here's another one. It'll look like this at night.
Right. So
The
does
letter be
everyone,
orange or anything fine that will light up.
so the orange letters that are shown in the application,
Everything's opaque.
they're on the surface of the black background that's shown
Correct.
here.
It's yeah,
And the orange letters are what will be halo lit.
correct. Sign back up here again. So basically, just the orange letters will be halo lit. The white, well, it's off border and marketing and media. Those won't have a halo to it.
So the 69 is also,
Correct. Yep. It's opaque vinyl paint do either way.
That's not
That
lit.
goes over top
Just the
of
big letters are lit. The
Oh,
SWB.
because that was
Right.
direct lighting.
Right.
It's a little stand up. Right, interrupted. They're just for a step.
Basically, the sign's gonna be on both sides. The light in the box, and then it's just gonna shine through on the orange.
It's going to shine through on the edge of that, not the actual face, in the edge of it. No direct lighting. It's actually it's the same as what I have shown here. It's just the edge of the sign. It's not
so,
direct
and that
lighting.
light is going to be white around the
We can
orange.
change whatever
Oh, what
warm
was it?
color you need, but yeah, typically in a commercial setting it's 5,000 K, but we can do 3,000 K, whatever it needs to be.
So straight. The
All right.
actual lighting, is it mounted to the letters or is it in the
No,
box?
It's inside the box. You won't have any sort of bleed out from the light. It'll just literally be the edge of the letters that are getting it. Univest is, again, Univest direct light coming straight out the front. But if you look at that at night, they did not use opaque vinyl. They use translucent vinyl. So I'm not sure how I can prove like that if it's an issue with the translucent vinyl versus opaque. But that sign lights up right front at night. Ours will not do that. Like I said,
Because the black is opaque, right?
aluminum, yeah.
Yeah.
So
Can
no
you
light.
pass
I
around
mean,
that one stone that you showed us?
Sure, I have two examples here. Which one do you want me to pass around? Examples for everybody. So this one is, there we go. I did some legwork on that sign and with the zoning office and asked if this was approved, that Univest sign was approved by Harb. and I wasn't able to get an answer on that, so I don't know. If it was approved that way, what? I've talked to Bill in the past about this kind of stuff, and he said as long as it's not direct lighting, you guys will take a look at it, which it's not. So, I mean, I'm here to basically plead my case as to the fact that it's not direct lighting, and
So when this is lit, the orange, you won't really see,
no, not at all.
all you're gonna see is just this little bit of,
Yeah, this red brick pizza, that could be purple, it could be yellow, it doesn't matter. What happens is the color then becomes black with a halo around it. Now, if there's street lighting, you'll probably see a little bit of the orange, but it's not going to illuminate it or white. It's going to be direct as a.
It's gonna
Yeah, go ahead.
clarification question. So this is a backlit.
can you talk into the mic? Thank you.
The red brick pizza and museum is a back. The letters float in front of lighting fixture.
Yeah.
This is not what's happening here.
Those are
The letters-
what it look like at night. Yes.
The letters are not protruding from the face
They
of
are
the sign.
create-
They
It
create.
shows it on the drawing on the left hand side there. They're three-dimensional.
Where is the 3/8? I mean, I don't.
I don't
Right
see it
here.
either.
On the side view, see the cabinet here, and then these are the letters here sticking out, 3/8 inch thick.
Oh, okay.
Which
Because on
Which drawing are
the
you-
Oh,
section drawing,
Right here,
sir, on the section drawing, they're protruding
yeah. Yes,
3/4,
3/4 of an inch.
not 3/8.
Sorry, 3/8 of an inch. Sorry, yes, 3/8 of an inch. Use acrylic to do that, and the acrylic is 3/4 of an inch. You have to trim it out for the 1/8 inch.
So through the routed, through the contour, the outline of the letters,
Correct. Yes.
and how wide it, I mean,
How wide is what?
the gap through which the light is coming
It would
through,
be the 3/8 inch on the side of it.
only on the side,
Yeah, because it's an opaque vinyl on the
Got
front. It's kind of like, the best way to describe it, it's kind of like fiber optic. That's probably a terrible way to, I shouldn't even say that. It's the light is not coming out directly. It's indirectly coming out through the acrylic. So there's over the front of it, so the light cannot directly come out of the side.
questions. And the light fixture is already pre-wired.
Yep, there's already a socket there. Yep, from the inside.
Okay, junction.
There's a high wall of the wiring inside of the bracket.
No, the building is pre-wired
Yeah.
for the fixture. There's a box.
They're
So,
actually doing, there actually was like crumbling drywall and behind that, so, or not drywall, but stucco behind it.
So during the day, the sign's going to look just like that on both sides. You're good-
Yeah.
Yep, okay, got it.
So I have a question about this little box, the sign actually. So
Sure.
that's sitting away from the building. The way it's drawing is, this is the attachment side, correct?
Correct, so if
Okay.
you're looking at it that way, you're basically looking at it on the right side of the building,
Gotcha.
looking down north.
Okay. So you're not really covering any of that molding, this detail molding
No,
up,
it's
because
the
you can
same-
still see
No,
through there.
it's the same exact way all the signs are hanging on Main Street. Yeah.
All right, so now, this,
Because it's, and like I said, the one that's there, and it's so rusted through that you can't in good conscience hang a sign on it. Yeah, safety hazard, so
what does this weigh, by the way?
it's all aluminum. Even the brackets, square tube aluminum, the whole thing weighs
That's okay.
7 pounds, under 7 pounds.
all right, I may be thick here.
Go
You got the black background on the sign, you got the orange letters.
Yeah.
Are the orange letters mounted directly to that aluminum panel?
They're coming through the face of it. Yep.
So,
That's how you get the light.
right, so there's a hole in the background,
Yeah,
the same as the letter?
Correct. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. If we were to
That's
let,
why
like,
it glows around the edge.
we run it through a router. So if we were to run it through, you know, an 1/8 inch thick, you'd have like a bleed of light come out the front, which would be direct lighting.
Right.
This is perfectly fit because it's up with a computer. It's exactly through that aluminum. So the aluminum's opaque and none of the light can bleed out
Mhm.
because it's aluminum. And then none of the light can bleed out the front because it's painted or vinyl, whatever you guys decide needs to go on the face of each letter.
That just comes out the side then,
Correct.
because that's the only clear part of the letter.
It's not even clear. It's an
Yeah. Got you. Thank you.
It's a complicated sign, but there's already one on Main Street, and that's why the customer wants a really, you know,
On Main?
nice sign.
On Main Street?
of
but down
Broad.
further.
It's on the corner of Broad and Main at Univest.
I was there during that meeting when that bank made those changes, and I do not remember having any discussion about the sign being lit like this.
Yeah, for sure.
So-
There's no way.
My,
That's why.
I'm sorry?
So there's no way. I brought it up. I can't imagine you approved a sign like that. It's on the ATM. It's above the ATM. So it's
Right.
nothing like
So
what I'm showing you here.
My question to you, Joe, is could you repeat what the wording is in the about signage and lighting?
It says, the Harb discourages, that's the third bullet point at the bottom of page 15. It says, new billboards, illuminated box signs, ID reader boards, flashing or changeable message signs, and neon signs. So the question is internally illuminated.
It's not an internally illuminated box. No, a box is and carbon running through the face of the thing. So it has direct lighting coming directly out of the sign. With the goes left and right.
So the Univest that you're get money out.
It's a giant unit.
Oh, it's the big-
about 6 feet. Yeah,
My
it's a unit on
business
the
is
top
right
of it. We're right on the right.
Of the 18.
And that's why I asked if you guys had talked to Craig, because we're talking about it, and he said he was going to look into it. Approval on that one, but it sounds like some
We did look at, it was approved by Harb. I think it was approved under the intention that the ATM was like a one-piece unit that went in like a bank industry. You know what I mean? Like standard Univest.
Right.
So I think it was more along the lines of it was approved as, can we install an ATM on here with the manufacturer specifications, and that light was part of the manufacturer specifications is what I gathered from Craig.
But what you're saying that's not part of the ATM.
It's a giant sign above the ATM.
How hard is it to get a sample of this?
How hard is it to get what?
A sample.
I mean, the
What
pictures,
is my-
the pictures that I showed you are exactly how the sign is going to illuminate.
I got you.
Except they're on a wall, right? I mean, they're letters on a wall, not
Right.
a hanging sign.
Yeah, I can build it the same way. I mean, I can put these on a wall too. Black.
But it's better to have it, I would think that it is better to have it matching what is there now, simply replacing the existing bracket and putting a sign there instead of trying to attach something to the building.
You're going to attach a bracket either way.
I mean,
Yeah,
they're making something like this flat along the building. But
Oh, yeah, I'm talking about this coming out of the tree. Yeah, that would be millions.
this is looking that you're just going to really be virtually using the existing holes, not going into any brick at all, just going into the wood. So you're going to have 4 holes go. Not heavy.
What gets approved? That sign, you can't hang a sign.
existing sign like the south side, similar to something at 313 3rd Street.
It's a completely different sign. That sign is over the front, and then there's neon lights that run along the inside of that, and you can see right into the sign. So that light is indirect again, but it's different. You're actually looking into the sign to see the light. Very similar. But Phil, when I talked to him, he said, well, we do have illuminated sign. There's 313 in it. And I said, well, this is a little different, but it's still the same aesthetic when you're looking at the end of the day. So it's a halo is what typically what I'm looking at doing. That one is, I don't know how you describe that. You're just looking into the sign. So it's creating a shadow inside of the sign box. Rather, this is creating a light around letters on the outside of the box. But very similar. Still routed sign with LEDs inside of it.
So you
Would
just
your
using,
client be,
She's still there.
would they consider doing a sign that is not lit this way, more of a placard with lighting in another fashion? I'm really concerned that we are really butting up and bending some Harb Harb decisions that have been in place for a very long time, especially about signs.
Sure.
So
Well, it would be the only sign like that in that whole strip of Main Street down the Hotel Bethlehem, down the other side is the Moravian Bookshop, and all the way up
my
Broad
point
Street.
exactly.
It would be,
So
what part of the codes that are listed there would this be violating? Jeff?
and the illuminated box sign is the only thing. I'm not sure these signs existed when these guidelines were done.
This is done with a water jet router on aluminum, and then the CNC goes with the acrylic so that it matches perfectly. So yeah, these signs have only been around for maybe the last 5 years, maybe a little bit longer than that. The aesthetic you get from it is that of Halo itself. It's a more, because if I were to put that sign on a building, I would punch a hole for every single solitary letter for power, and then I would punch about 4 holes for mounting.
So let me just clarify.
Sure.
These examples you show, these letters are much deeper, aren't they?
You can make them as deep as you
I know,
want.
but I'm asking specifically about these examples. They look to me like they're 2 inches deep or something. Are they not?
It's hard to tell from the picture. We can do that with 3/8 inch letters.
Will
I know, but my question is, to me, this looks like thick letters that are off a facade that have lighting behind
I
them.
use it as an example. It's not a sign. That's,
All right, hear me out. Just hear me out. So the sign you're proposing
Mhm.
literally has a 3/8 projection. So the light is coming out of a 3/8 inch edge of a letter. To me, is a letter that's attached to a facade 2 inches deep
the
that has a
examples-
gap behind it that is lighting behind it. So they're not, I mean, same effect, not the same lighting. My hunch is that the halo would not be as dramatic as what you're showing.
That's the point that I'm thinking of when you have such a small area for the light to come out, A, and B, if need be, they can do down the LEDs. And it's like he said, you can do whatever size you want of LED to be able to adjust how bright it's going to be, so that we're not going to have something that would be extremely bright and offensive in the district, but it's better than. I mean, I understand. I think I understand what it is looking. This is kind of a bad example in the fact that it's too much light, whereas what you're going to be having coming out of your sign is much less.
it could be whatever you want it to be. Yeah, because we can
Right.
adjust the LED.
So what LED were you using? What wattage? The 2700? It's a little warmer.
For the temperature?
Yeah.
Typically we use 5000 K. That's a bright
That's
white.
bright.
Well, we can use whatever. We use 3,000K, put RGBs and put every color in the rainbow in there. I mean, you guys.
Okay.
Never been asked that question before, but we can do it.
And is this the lettering of the business?
Yes.
This is their logo.
Yeah. These installed outside of the store.
You're giving us an example of what it doesn't match the description of what you intend to do.
Exactly the same. The sign and not the light. I'm trying to illustrate.
Well, I'm just saying, like, this is way more than that's direct. I mean, it's a lot of light.
Right.
But again, it's not direct light. That light is actually hitting the building.
So, is this the effect that we will be achieving? Like, are we approving this effect, or are we approving this?
I don't think we like that effect.
Yeah, you like that,
Like,
right?
I just like I'm having a hard time. The description of the project did not produce a light effect like this. I know you're capable of producing it. I just want to know what is going to go on Main Street. And the reality is that this will be only the second lit sign on Main Street. The first one being quite an atrocious example of what could happen. So this is presumably a more fitting approach to lighting a sign, but the example is not. Does that make sense?
In the city of Bethlehem,
No
where
one
you
would want an opaque light. They wouldn't want that halo. They didn't want like Univest. They didn't want to have their logo bright through the face, just like Univest does. So every one that I've actually done, I'm trying to think of an example here that most of the historic ones aren't like this. But most of the signs that I build, they're light coming through the face, Univest, and it has all the colors of their logo in it, which is ideally what the customer would want, but he's conceding that we're not allowed to have direct lighting in the historic district. I'm looking for an example right now to find one, but again, you can nitpick everything I pick up here and say, well, that's too bright, or that's. But I have the ability. I'm building the sign myself. I have the ability to, have the ability to do whatever whatever you need.
Do you have the ability to bring in a sample of what we could see
I mean,
and how it would look?
here's an example too. That one's a little bit brighter. I mean, how thick is the edge on
No,
this?
no.
This is a routed push-through sign with opaque vinyl on the front of it. Yeah. Look at a sign and say, well, that looks too bright. Well, we can turn it down. And for me to build something like that, it's a pretty costly sample.
What you have here is exactly what you're talking about. This is the light is behind this sign. It lights up and then just gives that at night. All you're going. Okay, we're going to. So you're going to have white light.
Bright white. That's what, again, I don't have too many examples of this because that's a router push through aluminum cabinet with vinyl on top of the
But this is not that construction, correct? That's not what.
But look at what
is
he's got. That's exactly what it is.
That's
This is not what you're describing.
Correct.
2,700.
Yeah, typically, as far as our we haven't permitted anything above 3,000 Kelvin in district.
no, I don't have any examples of that, but I would certainly do. I'm thinking like 3,000, like a nice soft yellowish kind of light, more of an antique looking light than something, surgical. 5,000.
Did you say we don't typically allow 3,000?
Normally we say 2,700.
Decided, I know that's where we stop.
Pardon me?
That's where we stop at 1,000 at the max.
2,700 is more like daylight, nice and warm. Just
I always thought it was 3,000 to 2,700.
No.
Yeah, we use 5,000K. That's like surgical.
Do you know anywhere, I'm just asking, and do you know of anywhere this signs like this are? Like anywhere you think of like a free hang sign? Not in Bethlehem.
I did them for Don Juan over in, for Don Juan. But what he did was he actually cut some of the face off so that there was light coming through the face of it.
Okay.
Just to give it more of a halo effect.
Right.
Or you know,
Yeah.
that's not what I'm proposing here, but I can show you that example. It's just a really tough one because again, if
It's
my
just so-
customer wasn't in the historic board, it would be bright orange, white. It would be
Totally get it. Totally get it.
So it's hard. It's a hard example. Thanks.
I have another question, if I may. The panel of the box is an 1/8 inch. That's the
It's
face.
the face of it.
Yeah. Through which you're pushing a 3/4 inch thick acrylic.
Yes.
The protrusion is 5/8.
Did they have it as 5/8 on here?
No, they don't. You said 3/8.
Yeah. You also have to have another flange on the inside.
Instead of
So it's through 3/8.
3/8.
It's a,
And the section drawings installation on one side is lit
yeah,
up.
ignore that. That's in here.
Okay, so there will be two.
On the bottom there, side view.
There'll have to be some kind of fin in the middle of this so you can light. I don't know how that works.
Bars. Just a little bar.
Mhm.
Or bars that go.
Mhm.
12 lamps picture.
And the text is SWBR marketing and media established in 1969 in the outline, including those faux rivets.
No, full rivets in the outline I wouldn't eliminate that. No. It's too far towards the edge. You probably get a weird illumination from that.
But just the SWBR large letters are the ones that are haloed.
EST 1960.
So what we
Marketing
see,
and media.
what we see in red or orange is what gets
I mean,
illuminated.
It's not clear. What I mean.
Not the marketing and media. though.
No, you don't have to light that. It's tough because that's off-white. So if you do illuminate that, you would have off-white paint on the face of them. And you could light that, I guess, but it would be off-white vinyl on the face. So it would be kind of weird.
So that's not lit at all because it's on top of the black aluminum.
Basically, you're just going to look at SWBR. Right?
So don't we, on the white color, don't we tone that down a little bit?
It's noted on there. Should be. There's no color. It's off-white on the
Thick white.
door board. I wish I had a physical sample.
We do too.
Yeah.
Is this typically used in a fashion like this, like hung out as a solitary sign, or is it usually fastened to the building?
No, a good example is Oliver's Salon over on Hamilton Boulevard. They have a historic, not historic, but they have an aesthetic review board, and they have that same thing there.
They have that,
There's
just like this?
Theirs is just front lit. It comes up front rather than paint. But it's the exact same sign, just the lighting comes up front and the side.
So the letters in that translucent then or whatever, so the light come up through.
It's a clear color. The LEDs change colors.
Same dark and
Same
different
exact
lighting.
color. For example, I mean, at this point, I know it's a difficult one.
Yeah.
I don't know how feasible a sample would be, but I'm just kind of looking to see what. I'm running this by you guys because there's already one. There's a precedent on Main Street. That's why I'm running it by you guys. So, customer would love to have this because it would be a nice sign. It would fit with the historic lighting scheme, but again, I know it's a precedent. You know, it's the second one that's illuminated. So kind of up to.
What's the address for Oliver's?
Yeah, Oliver's Salon. I think it's Oliver's State Spa.
Yes.
Okay.
got it? There's like a shepherd's hook, but it's still hanging off the pole.
Your client already in this building,
Yep.
working out of it,
Yep.
and they have been.
Yeah. But yeah, that's the sign right there, just on the shepherd's hook.
I
I think it's
got
It's
the-
all here, right there.
There you go. It's the same thing, it's double sided, just instead of protruding off the building, it's just a shepherd's hook off of a single mast. Now that's Lower McCounty's aesthetics. That's why it's like that, built like that. So that's the freestanding sign.
Mhm.
Got it.
But it's a rad portion. Clear acrylic on here. So you're getting direct.
So if you're trying to educate us on all these lighting terms, the clear acrylic means that it's kind of becoming directly out through the letters,
Yeah.
the light. So what you're doing is that you are putting the coating on top of the letters.
Yep.
And then the part that where the light would come out is the sides.
Correct.
So therefore, there's nothing's going to, like the orange is nothing there.
Yeah.
And all that you're going to see is this little effect around the letters of whatever amount of light we want to have coming through.
That's correct. Now, a lot of people, like I said, will have a color like orange translucent. So when you light it up, the light is going straight through the face.
But what you're doing is it's opaque, so nothing's going to come through those letters, and the only light you're going to have is the little bit of light that comes around the edge of the letters.
Just like the example I showed you on my phone.
A sliver, basically.
Yep.
So what color is this now?
It's a off. I can give you the PMS colors for it.
Yes,
I just put the
please.
PMS colors on the
Is that the business colors? Is that?
It is like a orange. It's not like a bright orange or like a honey orange. It's like a burnt orange.
Right, but that's their logo
That's their
colors.
actual logo. We didn't change the logo. The only thing we changed was marketing media and the border to off-white, to like a bone color rather than a white. And typically it's like an off. Typically it's like a burnt orange. It's not a bright orange.
Well, I'm going to stick my neck out here. I don't get a vote, but I just think this has to be treated very carefully. I can imagine one of these on the street, but imagine it's not the last one of these we see as soon as this goes up. So how many of these? Because most of the hanging signs or blade signs, as we call them, are an inch and a half thick, maybe even if they're double-sided. This is 6-inch, so it's kind of boxy, or I don't want to necessarily say clunky, but I mean, it's a different scale of sign. So I just, for what that's worth.
I thank you for bringing that up, Joe. I think that's, I'm in agreement with you. I think that was the reason why I asked if your client would consider a sign that was constructed differently and lighted differently. And do you think that they would change this, or are they hard set on this kind of sign?
I mean, you're like asking somebody to settle with a Kia when you're driving a Ferrari. It's two different things. It's not in the same ballpark.
Can I make a suggestion also? Along the lines of Joe's thought there with the blade sign, and would your client accept a brighter white outline around the logo in the vinyl and be lit otherwise? so that he would still get that detail without all the lighting.
Say that again?
Okay,
Yeah,
so,
am I following?
okay, so if the letters are orange,
Yeah.
and then the eighth or however thick that white line was to be
Yes.
is now in also vinyl. There's no cutout. So it's now a blade sign. So there's just a sliver of the white vinyl letters,
And no light.
and no lights.
I think if I
building-
want this sign not illuminated, exactly what I would do with a 1-inch deep or 2-inch deep aluminum pan sign, erase the letters off and paint them, acrylic, inch thick acrylic and paint, and not
Okay.
but again, that would be us conceding to that. So
Mhm. Would you mind going back to your client and talking with him?
I had a million conversations with him about this. He came to me originally and said, "I want that Univest sign on my building," and I said, "No problem. There's already one up. Must have been approved.
Mhm.
I'll go take care of it." So he wants that sign. That's what he's dead set on. If he doesn't, I told him, I said, if they don't approve it, your options are externally illuminating it. Now you have light shining down on the sidewalk and different things like that, just different type of light. But those are the other options. So
Do they allow it to be externally illuminated?
it looks like a gooseneck. That's what.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, there's many of the signs are. A lot of them are not, but some of them are illuminated with gooseneck that's directed to the sign and on the sign.
You have like one on either side.
Yeah.
Come off the top. And you have the light shining down.
I think this, what they're proposing here is much more aesthetically pleasing than having that sign put up with some gooseneck lights shining down on it.
I understand. I just it's an internally illuminated box sign. I mean, there's no way around it. The guidelines say, you can call it halo light, you can call it side light, you know what I mean, direct light. I can just see these popping up left and right, all up and down Main Street.
Yeah. Consideration needs to be given to scales and the width of it. When we walk down there, blade signs that are probably maximum 1.5 inches thick. I mean, this is what's that? Yeah.
Same conversation for us to have. The way the universe sign set up precedent, this also only confirms that precedent, but extends the precedent further. I wish somebody could illuminate us to what the discussions were with the prior approval.
Can I make a motion to table this and I'll pull the Univest information for the board members and circulate it around?
But I also want to say, it's entirely within the purview of this group to determine appropriateness on a one-by-one basis.
Well, I agree.
This isn't clear as to its appropriate.
But the press, in my opinion, and this doesn't come off the wrong way, but the precedent hasn't yet been set in the main.
Isn't Univest
Main Street.
considered? It's at the end of.
It's Broad Street.
It's
But-
Broad
Oh,
Street.
That's
the
correct,
address is
but
on
I
Broad
think
Street.
that, just going back to what Michael said earlier, is that we on the board did not ever having a discussion of the sign, what an ATM machine that was going to be installed in that, into the bank, into the side of that building. So I don't know if it's really a precedent or not, honestly, and maybe just because it's there, but it wasn't approved.
Well, the ATM is on Broad Street. That makes it a difference, but.
Still in the historic district.
Right.
Still the
It is.
district.
I know,
So-
I kind of,
Read the part again about the signs that you can't have. Read.
It says the Harb discourages new billboards, internally illuminated box signs, LED reader boards, flashing or changeable message signs, and neon signs.
So it's internally illuminated box signs. Internally illuminated is not what he's talking about. Although this is an internally illuminated block sign, the thing that they're talking about at that point was what you used to see, where you have a box sign, and then you have a vinyl, a huge vinyl piece, which is the sign and is just brightly lit from behind. You're talking about, because I know I did an internally illuminated before, you know, I mean, they're huge, bright. Whereas this is totally different from that type of sign.
It is, but I don't know if that technology that he's proposing right now even exists.
The point
in
that
the
that's
guidelines. So I think has the option to weigh in on that and have an opinion on what is appropriate and what isn't.
The language you just read says discourages, doesn't necessarily say prohibits, prevents.
But
So there is, to your point, Joe, there is leeway for us here.
There's the leeway both ways, honestly.
I
mean,
agree.
just because
And I-
it's not in here, this board still is charged with acting on what is appropriate to maintain the character of the historic district.
And so, you know, and I forget your name, so I apologize, but how old is the technology that you're proposing?
I mean, how readily is it available to sign companies now because the costs have gone down on those types of machines? 10 years? How long has this technology been available? 30, 40 years?
Yeah, but I mean, it's like 5 years ago, you wouldn't have gone and had this sign done for the cost that it's today.
The cost of machines, not because of the technology being available.
Cost of the machines.
Correct.
And then when did you start putting the LED lights that you can control in these box signs like this?
I would say since they started phasing T12s out, so maybe 6 years.
6 years.
Yeah, but you could put T12s inside.
And that, but the thing is that's a totally different light than what you're going to have with LED, correct?
Yeah.
Because you have more control how the light is going to how it's going to be and what neighborhood.
Correct. The color, the brightness, the intensity, all of those things are
It can kind of, you know, bring it up to the Seinfeld episode when the chicken place across the street from him and it was so bright.
exactly the red lights from the
Right.
How long has that Univest sign been up? Because we're sitting here talking about how concerned we are about a possible precedent. It's not like I've seen a flood of applications for a bright sign like that. Like
Maybe
that.
because it wasn't approved that.
Maybe.
And that this board needs to be able to look at each case on a case by case basis and make the decision based upon what we're going to have as a final product. So I think that what he's doing is he's trying to make something that still is going to satisfy what we want and satisfy his client and have it be aesthetically pleasing. That's the point that we're looking at. Pleasing.
Well, I don't think that is the point, to be honest with you. I mean, I think the sign is fantastic. I think the technology is fantastic, but I think it's an internally illuminated box sign, which we discourage, which we don't look promising down upon. So, and if you walk up Main Street, like we all have, I mean, there's no internally illuminated signs on entire Main Street. All blazed on.
But there's a whole bunch of them illuminated that shine on them.
Some, not all, not a
Some.
lot of them don't have
But
any
some.
lighting. Yeah.
But some.
Most of the illumination is if the signage is on the building, then the gooseneck shines back to the building. There are a couple of the are actually lit, the blue lines.
Look at.
Well, let's look at the universe. Go by Oliver's at night and take a look at the Oliver sign. Or you can go at night.
Lighting, yeah.
But it's the same concept,
Yeah,
basically,
same
right?
concept, it's just a different type of. Yeah. Across the street, I did Hunan Springs, which is a 30-foot wide sign. There are a couple pieces on that sign that are opaque vinyl on the front end, around the outside. They don't light directly. Now the whole sign is.
This is across the street from Oliver.
Which parts of it have that effect?
It was like 5 years ago. I'll get that to you. There's the name, and then there's a couple of symbols on the side. I think it's the Chinese symbol. I'll get that to you.
I'll go look at it.
Are you okay with that suggestion then,
Yeah,
Evan?
absolutely. I mean, again, I came here because I talked to Phil.
Yeah.
About the sign, he mentioned the 3313, which is, in your eyes, it's a box that has lights inside of it. You know, again, it's the way you look at it. It's a box with lights inside of it. And then the Univest sign, I said to him, hey, if that's getting approved, you know, we have the technology to build a lighting sign that will give this halo effect that does look like, you know, what's allowed when it comes to that kind of lighting, indirect lighting. And, you know, it's an awesome looking sign. Which, you know,
Oh, wait.
any of you are familiar with Freddie Vasquez, Vast Abstract, I got one hanging in his lobby, in his you know, in the front lobby, and he'd be happy to show you guys the sign.
What you have one similar to what you're talking about in Freddie's office?
Again, it's front. It's the illumination comes through the front of it, and it's 5,000K, but it's in Freddie Vasquez's office, and he'd probably be happy to see you guys and show you.
I know.
He loves the sign.
Is there any way to make this sign not as thick as 6 inches?
That's
reduce
just
that
the standard.
down.
It's made out of extrusion, so it's the standard thickness we use for that kind of stuff, for double sided.
Can we push that?
Not because
To be
it's
smaller?
probably because it's the standard. No,
Did you want to make it smaller?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Because there's nothing in there
LEDs.
other than
The
LEDs.
driver is probably the like room for that and air to breathe.
Mhm.
Where is
Okay.
I like the idea.
Well, I do too, but I don't know that it's in the
Not on the
right
street, it's on the
patient.
street
I'm-
side, not-
I know, but I just think, like, how old are those guys?
My concern is not with one sign of this type, it's with a street full of signs this type. And then you're gonna be Las Vegas.
So I agree with you, but that's the whole point of this historic board is they have to go through that process. And if people do something like you best,
Yes.
what's
Right.
the repercussion for that afterwards? If I go put this, I mean, what's the repercussion?
We know it.
Yeah, it's a long time. So, I mean, you guys have too. So
A motion that we table it for our next meeting?
Okay.
Okay.
You can come to the next meeting?
can I ask a quick question? You want a sample?
I'd love a sample. I think that would help
I
us.
think looking at the Don one in Easton is a good example because that one again was historic, but we did cut like an 1/8 inch, so there is a little bit of light that comes through the face of it. But Don one is probably the closest one. Yeah, at the college.
Can
It's right
Do
now.
me a favor, you can submit it.
I send that list too. Again, it's going to be noted that these are all 5.
Got it.
It's fine. All that stuff on
That's
the other
fine.
side.
Well, we got it.
But I can gladly. Example for you guys, see what we can do.
Or is that Don Juan, the one that was at 25th Street?
That was Brook Road, the man, Stone Crab. Yes, need to do a push through cabinet because box signs are not allowed in the country. So I built a set that had black vinyl in front of it and it had the halo effect. When you drove by at night, it wasn't direct lighting. It was a halo effect. And again, we approved that. Now, he moved
And
out
that's
of there
existing
since.
right now on Brookside.
He moved out of there since, and he took the sign over to Lafayette, and now it's in Easton, and it's existing there. So, yeah.
So the signs.
Got
It's
it.
in Easton, but they moved it, yeah. But it was originally an exterior historic approve the sign.
All right.
Okay.
I think we've used our time limit.
Yeah.
A motion has been made by Joe. Is there a
I'll second
second?
the table it.
Seconded by.
I second it.
All right. You guys can arm wrestle over that.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm over talking somebody.
Okay. All right. We'll give it to you, Diana. Ladies first. Connie, motion is to table it.
Aye.
Diana, yes. Rod,
Yes.
Yes.
yes. And Nick, yes. Motion carries unanimously.
Here's
Thank
my
you.
call.
Thank you.
Email me some list of some places, and then I'll just a bunch of
If anybody else decides those things, I'll,
be in contact with you moving forward.
thanks for your time, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You know what? I have a question for you.
for educating
You know,
us.
people want to have a sample. Sample in there. What about if we were a small sample of what the face of the sign would be like
That's what I expected.
without
We'll
not
turn
doing-
it off.
Yes.
Put it in a box and put a flashlight on it.
One of our cell phones.
No, but just that, because that would give the effect.
I got a month.
Well, you don't have a month because the next meeting is when?
Oh, yeah.
This is the 20, yeah.
It's like 2 weeks.
Okay.
Third, I think.
Yeah.
I'll get cracking on it.
Yeah, we're late.
Thank you.
We're late
Okay.
this month because of holidays and
The only
stuff.
issue I might have is the LEDs, like sourcing the right color LED. That's the only thing I'm concerned about, is making sure I get that 2750. So I'll. is that what it was?
2700.
2700.
2,700.
All right, I'll get that. I'll get those in there too. All right.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Cool.
Thanks, have a good night.
And then my other question for you, real quick. Back to this meeting, a permanent fixture of this meeting, you want another option of,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Does he need to make
idea.
a new application?
If, that's a good question. If you're going to possibly change the sign, you may need a new application.
no, I'll just do the same thing I have now, it's not illuminated. But I know that 6 inches is an issue, so maybe I mean, if I'm not illuminating, do whatever.
I think what he's saying is if you change it at all to come back to us, you have to do another application, correct, Mike?
Yes.
Yeah,
And-
so
and all it would
don't
be
do
is
the-
filling out this front page again.
To get on the agenda, since it's.
Yeah, to get on,
Does he need to,
you just email me and I'll put it on I'll get it on.
we're
the
trying to
agenda.
make, because we're short in time because
We got the short week.
we're late.
The agenda was today. So I'll let Wilma know to first thing tomorrow morning to put this on the agenda next month.
I just want to,
No, don't worry about it. Just to get you on the agenda for right now. For the agenda
Oh,
for the next.
Yeah.
We'll talk from there.
I'll email.
East Wall Street, thank you so much for your patience.
And then it's painted. Or fine, or whatever you want. Good evening.
your name is, sir?
Rob Marshall.
Rob Marshall.
Ah, good to see
We've
you.
probably seen you before, right?
Yeah, I was here 3 or 4 years ago about new windows
Yep.
and the like on my townhouse.
All right, proposed work, applicant, owner, property at 53 East Market Street, proposed to replace the wall, sorry.
Oh,
We're moving you.
Thank you for, yeah, we did the wall. Got it right, most places wrong in that place. Proposes to replace the existing roof shingles with GAF slate line shingles in antique slate color. New pre-finished aluminum drip edge, installed at the perimeter. Chimney flashings will be installed if they are required. New vent pipe boots and flashing installed to replace the existing. The new shingle covered ridge vents will also be installed. Just to note that the same shingles were approved in an application 52 East Wall Street. So this whole section of houses have come before us for very similar things in the past that have been approved. If you remember, the two homes constructed in 1977, approximately cross-gabled asphalt shingle roof facing the street. The ridge is pierced by a centrally located brick chimney. There's K-gutters and rectangular downspouts that are white on it. The stone facade incorporates brick relieving arches above the window and entrance openings All the double hung windows have simple heads and heavy sills. They're 6/6 light, and they're fitted with black louvered shutters on the second floor and black paneled shutters on the first floor. Shutters are fitted with hinges, pull rings, hooks, and locks. The off-center wood louvered entrance door has a 4-light transom window and is recessed in an arched opening. This residence was part of a row of residences, as we said, that was constructed in 1977 and replaced an earlier school building that was located on the site. The residences are deemed contributed, are under the 50-year cutoff for historic buildings as defined by the National Park Service and part of the original national legislation. Properties that have achieved significance within the past 50 years are generally not National Register of Historic Places. So they must be over 50 years old to be considered historic, and this building will be 5. These are all things that we brought to note on the previous applications.
5 years, you want to say that.
Right. I actually did, we did a couple of years ago, so yeah, it's 25.
Got a couple notes that I would like to your description, sir. Where the request here is for the house and the carport,
Okay.
which I know the carport is.
Is it visible from the right of way?
Oh, it's
From the alley?
From the alley. I mean, it's on the alley.
So you can see it.
Okay.
I think what we're looking at here with Don Rockwell's application for 52 East Wall Street, immediately adjacent, that was approved. So he's going from the existing asphalt shingles to the preferred antique gray slate line shingles.
Yep.
And I'm doing that now. And, it looks to me like the roof, all 4 units in the old school are about the same age, like they were done at the same time. And talking to my neighbor on the other side, 56 Lou Centino, out doing it, and I haven't talked to the Mizrahinos yet. So, bottom line is, there will be a period of time here where not all the shingles will match each other on that unit. But I think we're entering a phase where dominoes begin to fall. And I would guess within 2 years max, everyone will have replaced. That's just a guess on my part. I've talked to the owner of 56, and he's thinking about it. And 58, I haven't talked to the Mizrahinos yet. But, they're probably facing that I am. We're starting to see a little bit of evidence of water on the 3rd floor. So it definitely needs to be done.
Do we have any questions?
The only question I had is just to be certain, as we always do, drip edges to match the color of the adjacent trims.
Yeah, I don't have Don Rockwell being owner of 2 East Wall Street, and my MO. So I assume the
Yes.
when he said his approval match like as
Is Don complete yet?
no, it hasn't started yet.
Okay.
But I think he got approval.
He did.
if
He
I
did.
heard correctly.
I was just curious if you were going to do them both at the same time.
No, we actually have different contractors. We were, it's just one of those things, we were both doing it independently and discovered, when we were almost at the finish line on, on our investigation of what we were doing, that we were doing the same thing. So we ended up with different, save a little money.
No, I'm just curious because I figured maybe we're coming in now trying to hook on to Don and knock it all out at once.
No, I was doing it
That's all right.
separately, so great
Okay.
minds think alike, I guess. You know.
And then the other thing, any flashing replacement copper.
Okay.
Yep.
And Don had the same
Yeah.
specification. Okay, well, I will, thank you for that, and I will look back to the,
Appropriateness for 54 to replace the shingled roof on the house and the carport with antique gray slate line with any drip edge to be painted to match existing trim, and any flashing to be copper flashing.
Second.
I'll
Second that too.
Question before we vote, are gutters and, or are they gonna be replaced?
no, the intent is to use everything that can be reused.
Okay.
When they get up there, tell me something needs to be replaced, and then, of course, the objective would be, like for like.
And these are K gutters and square downspouts on this building anyway. They're not the rounds.
Got it. Thank you.
Okay, motion has been made and seconded. Diana,
Aye.
I gave Connie the second. Rod made the motion. Joe,
Aye.
Michael.
Aye.
And Nick.
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
And then, next Tuesday, that'll be approved,
2 Tuesdays
2 Tuesdays.
because council met last night.
Oh,
This meeting is off calendar
gotcha.
because we had so in 2 weeks it'll be approved, and then once the approved copy, once you receive the approved copy, you can come down to the permit office,
We got to approve.
you or your contractor, and then get the permit with the COA.
Just we need a motion to approve the minutes of June 1st.
I approve the minutes of June 1st.
Motion
I
has
make a
been,
motion to approve.
motion has been made. Is there a second?
Second.
And we'll just do all in favor. Signify by aye. Opposed? Unanimous. Thank you. Anything else? I don't care. Sure. Sorry.
have a little bit of gathering from the historic museums. Yeah.
Yeah.
Did it?
Yeah.
Until next.
I think that's what Darlene said to me.
Okay.
Last time I was walking out of the office.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
When is we come back in? Do we know?
Yeah, next month. So it'll be the 3rd.
At this meeting is
Yes, it might even get pushed back again. The UNESCO one might get pushed back another.
well, isn't that important to hear that before we hear the Broad Street?
I'm gonna find out.
I understand what she wanted to talk about was the parameters of the historic
Yeah,
district for us to understand that.
I'll talk to Darlene. And I'll send an email out.
Okay.
I'll have Wilma send an email out just to kind of give it. I thought we were having it too until the last second today, and they were like, "No, it's canceled." So,
Okay. Alrighty then. We can go home.
all right, everybody.
I'll-
Make a motion to adjourn.
I approve that one.
Hi, everybody.
In my
All right, so motion by